ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, February 2nd. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, which is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, is 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We're going to give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see the Herd on Wednesday take on Southern Miss. Should be a fun one. The Herd getting in the win, of course, on the road against Arkansas State Saturday. Hopefully, if we've got time and we can get it to you. Coach Jackson held his presser not that long ago at Marshall, so if we get that back to you before the end of the show, we'll run it here. And we've also got coming up on the program a little bit later on, we're going to be talking a little softball with you. Diamond Leslie is going to join us. She was named to the 2026 preseason All-Sun Belt Conference team. So she's going to join us on the back end of the program. So in between all of that, we're going to get your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Again, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So we've got a full week. It's, of course, the week leading up to Super Bowl. I'm excited about that. I mean, not necessarily the matchup, but, of course, it's going to be a fun game. You got the Patriots, you got the Seahawks. We'll have that game for you right here and across all our Kindred Communications stations. It was a fun time yesterday because what do you do the week before Super Bowl? Well, you have an outdoor hockey game, and I don't know if any of you tuned into that Stadium Series game between Tampa Bay and Boston, and you got a goaltender fight, which really changed the dynamic of that game. So if you missed out on that, it should be on ESPN Plus. Let me tell you, nothing is more exciting than A, the shootout, and B, a goaltender fight in a game. So that was fun. And, of course, we had a fun weekend with Marshall basketball winning both again on the home court with the women and then the men getting it done, Thundering Herd back into, I don't want to say that number one spot contention just yet. Got a little bit ways to go. And we're running out of time, but the Herd should be one of those final teams to be in the top four if everything goes as planned. And, of course, there's a lot of excitement this week as well because Marshall, if the Thundering Herd cannot look past this Southern Miss team, I don't think Coach Jackson will let them. The fans are already, I don't want to say looking past Southern Miss, but you got the game against Miami coming up on Saturday. It's seeing a Thundering Herd team play host to a top 25 team in this MAC Sunbelt Challenge. Of course, you got to get past Southern Miss first. Obviously, that's going to be disappointing if Marshall would stumble against Southern Miss going into that game. But already the promotions have begun. First of all, you've got the instructions on how to stripe the cam. Social media has been really busy today. So check social media if you are one of the people that like to color coordinate when it's a stripe the cam game. Sections 116, 102, 104, 113, 111, and 109. All white. Everything else is green. So if your tickets are not in those 6 sections, you're wearing green. If you're in those 6 sections, you're wearing white. So it's a stripe the cam. I've seen the push already to jam the cam. Sell out the Cam Henderson Center. Let's have a full house for a top 25 team coming in. And, of course, I get that. Absolutely, I would see a lot of people show up at a game like this because it's a top 25 matchup and you're excited to see that. But why's it got to be a top 25 matchup? Has always been my argument and always been my question. Why you waiting? Why you got to wait until it's a top 25 matchup to start talking about, hey, we got to show up and jam the can. This is the biggest game ever for the Thundering Herd. I'm not going to go that far. I don't know if this is the biggest game ever or the biggest game since the NCAA tournament. I've seen some of that on social media. So rate this game for me. Still not looking past Southern Miss, but Marshall, Miami, biggest game ever, biggest game since the tournament. Most important game, got to jam the cam. What are we looking at here with this game? And that's the interesting dynamic right now. They're all big. They got to be big. Every one of them's got to be big. Now, with that said, there is a lot of excitement for this game because, again, if you get a top 25 team in your building and then you can beat that top 25 team, that looks good for you. And the whole idea for this MAC Sunbelt Challenge is to put teams against quality opponents on the other side. So that way you have an opportunity to play a non-conference game that's going to have a little value for you, going to be a little higher in the net. Opportunity for Marshall. If Marshall wins, it's going to be the huge benefactor of that. If Miami wins, it won't look bad. It absolutely won't look bad, and it will give Miami a solid win. Now, of course, if you're Miami and you're rated in the top 25 and you don't win the MAC championship, you might have an outside shot looking in for Marshall. Win or lose this game, Marshall's only opportunity to get to the NCAA tournament is at this point winning the Sun Belt Conference Championship. So that's where obviously Marshall's focus should be. But this is still an important game. But we can't overlook Southern Miss, so let's not do that. So we'll get your text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got, of course, tickets to go see the Herd take on Southern Miss. That's coming up on Wednesday. So if you would like to go see the Herd take on Southern Miss, all you have to do is text to win. That's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is your number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. As I mentioned, social media has been hopping today. There are a lot of other things going on. Football, of course, has set its date for the spring game. That's coming up in April. We'll give you those details. Also, coaches' clinics are coming up as well. Summer camps are coming up. So it's been a busy day as far as the football team is concerned. All of the events, we'll go over all of that, kind of give you a preview of some of the things that you can sign up for. You can either have a big day at the spring game on April 11th, or, of course, there's some of the other things that are happening as well, some of them targeted to the kids. We'll talk about all of that with you when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Naughty But Nice has reopened in a new location, 1336 Greenup Avenue, Ashland, Kentucky. Same products, new location for all your adult needs. Stop by our new location, 1336 Greenup Avenue, Ashland.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well.
I feel like I never have time for myself.
With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things.
His memory isn't what it used to be.
We get up and we have coffee.
He usually wakes up at 4:30.
Then we go for a walk.
He needs lots of my attention.
I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important.
Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist.
I'd say John and the kids are adjusting pretty well.
They honestly have no idea what I'm going through.
It can be a little challenging.
Help.
But so far, so good.
I could really use just a little help.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
You saved my life. You held my hand when I was scared. You helped me say goodbye to my dad. You were an example for me. You gave me strength when I thought I had none left. I couldn't tell you then, but I want to say thank you, all of you, for everything. Thank you to the physicians, nurses, and others working in America's hospitals and health systems. A message from the American Hospital Association, American Medical Association, and American Nurses Association.
Countless victims of human trafficking walk among us, invisible until now. The Blue Campaign provides a unified voice for those who work to combat human trafficking. It's time to open our eyes. Learn what you can do by visiting dhs.gov.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this Monday edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We've got a pair of tickets we're giving away today for the Herd game against the Golden Eagles. That's coming up on Wednesday. If you can't make it, we got you covered right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, also on 93.7 The Dog. So we'll give you a chance to win those tickets today. Later on in the program, we're going to talk a little softball. Coming up at about 5:45, we're going to hear from Diamond Leslie. She's named to the 2026 preseason All-Sun Belt Conference team. So that came out a few days ago. So she's going to join us on the program here a little bit later on. And, of course, we'll hear from you as well. So just to take a side trip just for a moment, I don't know if you've heard the news just yet, and we're getting more as it continues. But it appears that the Cincinnati Reds are among 6 Major League Baseball teams that are leaving Main Street Sports. That's FanDuel Sports Network, if you're familiar with the situation. Now, it's terrible to watch baseball on TV. No, I'm not talking about the game itself. I'm talking about just the way that it's hard to be a fan. It's difficult. It really is. It's hard to be a fan, especially with Major League Baseball. And the Reds, of course, those games have been on FanDuel Sports Network for a while, but it looks like that's no longer going to be the case because Main Street Sports is, according to reports, about ready to file bankruptcy. And so the Reds informed MLB that it wants the league to produce the broadcast. So I want to have the league carry the broadcast. And we'll find out probably a little bit later on from MLB, but we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Brewers released a statement not that long ago on social. Miami Marlins, Tampa Bay Rays, Kansas City Royals, and St. Louis Cardinals. They're also going to be moving their television rights to the league. So the league now has your TV rights. What does that ultimately mean for distribution? What does that mean for baseball and your ability to watch it? Well, I would think that it doesn't necessarily change too much. Now, if you have on your cable or your satellite package, you have whatever the sports pack is for DirecTV. It's called the sports pack. And you can actually opt out of those channels. You can do that. Some people do, some people don't. And so you don't have to pay the regional sports fee for the regional sports station. But you get some of those channels just by default because, well, the only way if you want to watch Pirates games are going to be on the package, right? Or the Reds. And in this case, it's FanDuel Sports Network. That's the only way you can watch some of these games. And so, if you have, and it's really convoluted. I don't subscribe to that package because it's always been convoluted. It's like, hey, I want to watch the Pirates-Reds game. Okay, well, you got to go here. Why can't I go there? And it's because of blackout rules. And now it looks like the packages of those teams are going to go to the league. And reportedly, FanDuel and Main Street Sports were looking to offer the Reds a lower deal monetarily than what he got last year. So the rights were in the $50 million range, and I believe I saw it was in the $40 million range of what the league wanted to, what the network wanted to sign. And so the Reds are going to move, along with these other teams, off of this FanDuel Sports Network, go right to the league, and I think we're going to see FanDuel Sports Network go bye-bye. Texter writes in, we're going to change gears here, wants to talk about National Letter of Intent Day, and says, Paul, Wednesday is National Letter of Intent Day. Is it now more significant with the new portal rules? I'm interested to see how that plays out in real time. With National Letter of Intent Day, it's really a big deal for the kids that are involved. You got to have the signing ceremony. And I kind of look at that and think, is this really that big of a deal anymore? Because this kid says, I'm going to go here, and then a season after that, well, you know what? I'm going in the portal. Didn't like it here, so I'm going elsewhere. Or I proved that I can play, so I'm going to go somewhere else and play at a different level. So I don't know if National Letter of Intent Day is more significant because with the portal, you're not necessarily replenishing your team with kids that are coming straight out of high school. As sad as it may sound, the kid coming out of high school sometimes has to maybe get started at, I want to say, a lower division, or get started somewhere before getting to that point where they can transfer to maybe a bigger school or a school closer to what they were hoping for. I mean, there are some schools that you're not going to get much money. You're not going to get a scholarship. You're not going to get much of anything. And so, you're signing with that because basically maybe there wasn't that much interest in you, or this was the best option for you at the time. But, you're looking to improve your stock. So I don't know if I'm excited about National Letter of Intent Day because the way the transfer portal runs now, here today, gone tomorrow. Also from the text line, 304-396-TALK. Hey, Paul, do you know if MLB taking over broadcasting means the announcers change for the Reds? I listen to the broadcast most days anyway, but I was wondering, thanks, Go Herd. I don't know if that necessarily is going to be the case because I would think the team would contract those out. I would think the team would decide. You're not just going to say, okay, you've got our broadcast rights, but I think that only means on the television side that MLB will be producing those broadcasts. I don't think anything changes as far as talent's concerned. The home team is the home team, and the home team has the home team announcers. And so with those rights going to MLB, I think it's more of a distribution than anything. MLB is going to distribute the games. MLB is going to be the rights holder. So MLB is ultimately going to be the one that will be in charge of distribution or subleasing those games. It's not a situation where I would anticipate wholesale changes to some of the familiar voices across Major League. That's not how this feels to me anyway. But we're going to get more information on that, how it's going to break down. But right now we're seeing on social media at least a couple of teams releasing information that, hey, we're out. We're out with FanDuel and we're in with MLB. Which I would think that on the short term, that's probably a good idea. Because you're not getting much from the regional sports networks, and it's a dying business model. I hate to say that, but it really is a dying business model. There are not too many markets where you can have a sports network and have the revenue that you need or want or you think that you demand, the value that you command. So, and you've seen these networks go from one outlet to another, one holding to another. And so there are very few sporting channels, sporting companies, rights holders that can take on what it does. Like, for example, Yes Network. Yankees have got a good thing going, right? The New York Rangers, MSG. The New York Knicks, MSG. One of the better, larger, call it a regional sports network, if you will. But you see some of these networks and their offerings, and it's just strip-run programming. You can flip dial to dial to dial or just go through the channel guide these days, and it's the same thing. That's why I never really kept the overall sports package, because it's the same thing over and over again. It's like, okay, you're running it, it's syndicated. You're running that, it's syndicated. And so once you get to, hey, I just want to watch the games, if I'm out of market, I can watch the games. That's it. That's all I want. I want to watch the game. Done. That's it. Give me the package that I can just follow the team I want to watch. Because there's really not too much on these sports networks that command my attention. If you're a rare major market team with a major market broadcast outlet, then there's some compelling programming there. But if you follow along on some of these sporting channels, the same absolute tired rerun drivel. And don't get me started on just the betting aspect of all of this stuff as well. I don't need to see show after show after show on betting. I mean, maybe you do. I don't care. I want to watch games. I want to see what's going on. I don't care about the betting aspect. I'm not going to be on my phone looking for my 4-leg parlay. That's not how I watch sports. Maybe I'm the outlier here, but I want to just watch the game. I want to follow along and watch the game itself. When I tune in, and I don't want it to be hard either. I want to be able to sit down and find my game and go. Make it easy for me. Now, since I follow some out-of-market teams, it's all good for me. With hockey, I follow an out-of-market team. It's actually easier for me. I get the center ice package. With ESPN Unlimited, I get the games as well there. Find my team, hit play, let's go. And the same can be said for NBA, and the same can be said to some degree for baseball, depending on what package you have. For the NFL, you're at the mercy of the league itself. But I don't believe that this is a bad thing necessarily. I just don't think the revenue stream is going to be with the regional networks for a lot of teams. Now, there are going to be some teams that don't want to combine league rights. There's been that push. Hey, Major League Baseball controls all the rights to the broadcasts. And I think the Yankees and a couple other teams are going to push back on that. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Paul Swann, your host, full of opinions, but I like hearing yours as well on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% to help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Cold weather's on its way. And what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Let's play Would You Rather Roosters Edition. Today's contestant is Bob. Bob, are you ready to play?
Let's do this.
Okay, Bob, would you rather eat slimy, overcooked wings at home or enjoy fresh, delicious, traditional, or boneless wings at Roosters?
Ooh, this is easy. I'll take Roosters.
Okay, next question. Would you rather watch football on 40 TVs at Roosters or on your one sad little TV at home? So sad.
I'll take Roosters.
Yeah, you will, Bob. Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Kindred Communications is proud to welcome WSAZ to our family of stations. When you listen to your favorite Kindred station, you'll hear the trusted voices from WSAZ you know, with the WSAZ First Alert, forecast, and the latest news. WSAZ and Kindred Communications, working together for the Tri-State.
Psst. Yeah, it's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active. But lately, you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Dad! Come on! Over here! Look at this, Dad! Over! Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, biking, fishing, or camping. Or do your own thing when you get there with family and friends. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The nicotine in e-cigarettes is addictive and can harm brain development. That's why I worry about teens who try e-cigarettes. Many young people use pod-based e-cigarettes like Juul, which have high levels of nicotine. And because teens' brains are still developing, they can quickly become addicted. The tobacco industry uses fruit and candy flavors to attract young people, often turning them into lifelong users. For more, visit healthychildren.org.
Thousands of American troops have come home from the war with post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries.
I'm going to have my good days and my bad days, and I really don't like those bad days.
Help the USO support these troops and their families. Donate today at giveuso.org.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with your Monday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Coming up in the next few minutes, we're going to speak with Marshall Softball's Diamond Leslie, named 2026 preseason All-Sunbelt Conference team. It came out last week, so we'll talk to her in just a few minutes. We've still got time for your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, this just came in. We were talking, by the way, about Major League Baseball moving its broadcast rights, and I believe this is strictly television right now. So if you are a fan of baseball on the radio, I don't think that's going away anytime soon, but that ties into what the texter just asked or said. Says, Paul, baseball is best enjoyed on the radio. The announcers paint the picture for you, and it's exciting to wait and hear if Jeff Brantley says to kiss it goodbye or if the Pirates will raise the Jolly Roger. Absolutely, I appreciate the thought. I agree with you. Baseball is the radio sport. It's the oldest, right? Probably the first sport on the radio. I mean, I can't back that up. I should probably know that, but it's the radio sport because it's not set to a clock. That's the one thing right there. I know we got the pitch count now, but still, other than kind of just trying to speed the game up a little bit, you've got the clock, everything. But there's going to be times in the ball game where it's going to be boring if you're just talking about what's happening on the field. And so baseball is the sport for the storyteller, the person that's describing the action, the smell of the ballpark. I mean, that's why we have this love for baseball. I mean, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Just, that evokes the smell. And so you can listen to the game and you can picture it in your mind. I mean, it's the stat lovers sport as well. You look at a box score and you know what happened. You can see what happened with the box. And I love how in the golden age of radio, the olden days, you'd have the announcer get the reports back. Just like, okay, here, quick message. Here's what's happening next, and then the radio announcer would describe the play, and then you would have somebody. I mean, this is true. That's not just stuff made up for movies. You'd have somebody maybe put the crowd effects in or the crack of the bat. Of course, I don't have a crack of a bat here, so I got my Frost buddy there. But you would get that. You would kind of get that back in the day because you couldn't necessarily travel far. You could get wire messages back. Okay, here's what's happening next, and then you would describe it. But we got to the point where, you could go on the road. Everybody could go on the road. You could broadcast from these venues. Broadcast back to the home crowd. You could follow along. It's the radio sport. That's it. Of all the sports, it's probably the best on radio. I mean, I think football is good too. Football is more of a TV sport because it's on a grid. That's what makes it work. It's a grid. It's shaped like your TV just about. It's better on modern TVs, but still, it was good on the old TVs. It was a box. It's a grid. You can follow along. It was easy to understand. I mean, basketball probably works better on TV. There are some good radio calls of basketball, though, but it definitely works better, I think, sometimes, depending on who the announcer is. You may differ on that. Hockey, I think it works both ways, but go back to the point, baseball is the best on the radio. And it's because of everything that you get with it. The theater of the mind. That's a line. You might have heard that line before. Theater of the mind. And we're taught that. We go to broadcasting school, or we go to classes at Marshall University, and we're taught about all the radio history, or at least they used to. You know, I hate to think that it's gotten clinical, but this was important. I still have my radio history book from, and as a college kid back then, to resell those back to the bookstore and the scam that the bookstore had going on, that was money. I kept my history book because, again, it was important. Texter says, Paul, I know we had the Huntington Blizzard years ago, but do you think another minor league hockey team would go over in Huntington? Maybe. Yes, no. All right, let me try to put this in perspective. If Huntington could find a league that was affordable, and you could support the team based off the gate and maybe sponsorship money, I think something could work. But Huntington has this terrible reputation for minor league sports. Nothing seems to last because, and this is not an insult towards Marshall, but Marshall sucks the oxygen out of any other attempt at sport in this city. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory, but Marshall, just by his existence and sheer size, and that's everybody's first love, sucks the oxygen out of anything else. Because if Marshall basketball is playing and there's a hockey game going on at the same time, are you going to get a good crowd? Maybe different audiences. If Marshall football is going on, nothing else survives against it. Marshall basketball, and there was that time where we had hockey and basketball at the same time. I thought it was great. Baseball is a little bit different of a story because baseball seasons should not conflict with one another. I think another go at that in the future hopefully would be more fruitful, more prosperous. You obviously have a lot of youth sports in the area as well, so those bring in a lot of attention. I think it could work, but there's going to have to be some things that are really looked at. And you're going to have me on your staff as well, because I'm telling you right now, I would be the king of promotions if I was on the staff. When we continue, we're going to talk Marshall softball. We've got Diamond Leslie joining us on the other side of the break on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Are you tired of running out of space? Check out Menard's Self-Storage Facility. Menard Self-Storage offers the most convenient and secure self-storage in the area. Options include features like 24/7 access, video surveillance, and on-site management. Menard's has warehouse units at the best prices in the area, and your first month is free. They're going quickly, so reserve yours now at menardselfstorage.com. Unit and offer details may vary by facility.
Save big money at Menards.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Peekaboo. Peekaboo, smile.
Smile, buddy.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy. You know how boys are.
Or maybe he's teething. Oh, poor baby. I think his gums hurt.
Maybe he's just tired.
Or maybe his tummy hurts. He didn't eat that much.
Maybe he's not ticklish.
You think maybe he's scared of the dog?
Maybe he'll outgrow it. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe he just doesn't like smiling.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs or see a doctor today for an autism screening. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better. And it can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Monday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll get back to the text line in just a moment, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're joined now by the 2026 honoree of the preseason All-Sun Belt Conference team, Diamond Leslie, finding out a few days ago that she made the squad. Diamond, thanks for joining us, and congratulations. Always an honor to be at least recognized by the league as far as your contributions. And I know you had to be pretty excited when you heard that your name was among those selected for that preseason honor.
Yes, sir, I was. I couldn't believe it.
Why couldn't you believe it? You definitely had a season that was worth including last year among those. So what was it maybe that surprised you that people thought so highly of you?
I wasn't surprised, but honestly, I'm not even sure. It just hit me so hard, and I'm just thankful and blessed that my hard work paid off for something good.
Now you had a tremendous effort last season. You earned first team all conference. You had a 381 average. You had 3 triples. You had top 10 marks in the Sun Belt. You had a team-leading 17 multi-hit game with 4 hit performances. So you had a lot of things racking up for you. Just what do you attribute that success to? And then what are you most looking forward to as you try to top that this upcoming year?
First off, I just want to say all my hard work and my energy I give it all to the team, honestly. If it wasn't for them pushing me and believing in me and giving me the encouragement, that right there and the trust to do it, that right there gave me all the motivation to keep going, and I got the award, which is really great.
Of course, it's not about the award, right? It's getting a championship for this team. And you look at the preseason nods and you look at where this team is supposedly considered to be picked 5th in the preseason coaches poll. Do you look at things like that and go, okay, that's fair. Okay, we're a little bit better than that? Or, is that something that maybe fuels you knowing that, hey, I think we're better than possibly 5th in the Sun Belt?
I do. That do fuel me, but like I said, as the Marshall softball team, we stick together and we know what we really are. So that's just how we are.
No snubs as well, because you're the only one that makes the preseason All-Sun Belt team, and you've got some talented teammates. I'm sure that you would sing the praises of a lot of your teammates, and you're the only one on the list. So do you feel like maybe there was a snub here or there, a little disappointment that you couldn't be joined on the preseason list with a few other teammates? What's the feeling going on there?
I do think that some of our girls should have also, and I'm pretty sure they have been recognized. But I know that this year coming up, I'm definitely going to have more of my teammates with me, for sure.
Diamond Leslie joins us, named to the 2026 preseason All Sun Belt Conference team. That came out last week. And, of course, you're no stranger to honors. You were named number 53 overall player in the D1 softball preseason mid-major rankings. And, of course, as we kind of start highlighting some of your accomplishments and accolades, you know you're the real deal. A lot of people know that you're the real deal. How much of that did you bring to Marshall, and how much do you think that Coach Zirkle brought that out of you?
A lot. If some coaches say I came a long way, and he helped me a lot. I feel like my leadership have improved, my work ethic. I'm more vocal. I feel like he brought that, like they say, he brought that dog out of me a little bit more. Like I always had it, but her coaching style and her coaching style really brought everything out of me, and just her trust and her believing in me also did it.
It's got to be pretty special as well. You have a coach that's not only been in the game, has played the game, but still plays the game and at a competitive level. So it has to be something special to be able to go out there, work with Coach Z. Not only is she instructing you and teaching you, but she's probably out there showing you how it's done as well and at a really high level. And I'm sure you've watched a lot of Coach Z, as she plays professionally. I mean, not too many players can say, hey, that's my coach out there playing.
That's very true, and I'm so blessed that I have her on my side through this all. Like, it's really, truly a blessing, and to continue to learn from her and knowing that she's going to do the best as she can to help me succeed, and that's just a blessing.
Our guest is Diamond Leslie. She's named to the 2026 preseason All Sun Belt Conference team. How excited for the upcoming season are you? Let's get this snow and ice melted away. Let's go out there and play some ball.
Yes, sir. I can't wait. Like, we leave Thursday to go down to Florida, and I just can't wait. Like, the team's ready. We all been talking about it. We just got done with our meeting now. Like, we all just pumped and just to show everybody who Marshall softball really is.
And that's funny because when I asked last week if we could have you on the show, they said, sure, but she's super busy. Just what's that been like these last few weeks as you're getting ready for the season? It's not just lounging around waiting to go play ball. This feels like a whirlwind tour already. You haven't even played yet this season.
I agree, but, like, everything is itself. Like, we just have been practicing every day. We've been watching film every day, just get prepared for the season. Just the little things, but really just practicing every day, just to make sure. And, like, recovery is also good to help our bodies be prepared for this long season that we have.
Sure, it's nice to have that indoor facility, right? Especially with this
Yes,
weather.
sir. Yes, sir.
I bet you are excited, though, for that weather to kind of get a little bit warmer. You can go out there and actually be on your own surface and get ready for the season. So off to go play. You're hitting the road soon. What are you expecting from this team? I'm going to let you maybe heap some praise on a couple of players while we've got you. Who are you excited to go out and see hit the field?
Honestly, I have no one in particular. It's really the whole team. Like, we have some new freshmen came up. Sid T, freshman, Rylan, who's a pitcher who we hopefully to see them on the field. We probably will. She's a good pitcher. Someone to look at. Sid T's a lefty slapper. She's also good to look at. And some last year players like Tia, a catcher who's really good, Paige, our infielder, Haley, another slapper, middle infielder, second base. Really everybody. I can't wait to see us actually come out together and do a part 2. Another good run like last year.
This time with a championship at the end of the day, right?
Yes, sir. A championship.
Diamond Leslie with us, named the 2026 preseason All-Sun Belt Conference team that came out last week. Congratulations. Thanks for doing it today. Look forward to seeing you out on the field, and hopefully we can get rid of this ice and snow soon so the home fans get a chance to go out and see you for real this year.
Yes, sir. Go Herd.
Thank you, Diamond. That's Diamond Leslie joining us. And again, named 2026 preseason All-Sun Belt Conference team. Of course, you've been seeing some of her accolades as they've come across it again. Number 53 overall player in the D1 softball preseason mid-major ranking. So she's getting a lot of acclaim, a lot of anticipation for this Marshall softball season. Let's go back to the text line while we have just a moment. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I was talking about basketball earlier. Texter says, Paul, I agree with you. This is not the biggest game. Even though I always love to beat Miami, it is not as big as winning a conference game. I miss the Charlie Cole days when he was at Miami and the fans would get on him. And Wally Zerbiak, I'm sure I spelled his last name wrong. No, you're fine. I got it. I understood it. Texter also adds, I do not need the tickets. Okay. Thanks for that. Again, I should proofread these before I go on the air with them. Thanks for keeping us informed on local sports and keeping your show on the air. Great job. I appreciate it. Thank you for all of that. It really does mean a lot to me to hear that you guys are actually out there and enjoying what we're doing. And, of course, I do appreciate the feedback, good and bad. You can text me anytime on the text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Also on X at Paul Swann. And I'm sincere. I'm going to mean it. For something, hey, hit on this a little bit more. We'll get on it. If there's something that you think that I don't know about, I should, hey, Paul, talk about this. We need to know more about this. Let me know. I do appreciate everybody who checks in on the program. And, of course, we're going to try to bring you more interviews. I really enjoy speaking to a lot of the student athletes at Marshall University, especially, when something exciting happens for them. I do enjoy sharing. So, I appreciate all of your support, because without your support, I couldn't do what I do. And, of course, I really wouldn't have this platform to talk to these student athletes and, of course, talk sports with you. So we're going to be back at it tomorrow right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as we get you one day closer to the Herd taking on Southern Miss. I'm looking forward to that. This game would have been more fun, though, if we would have had our number one enemy at Southern Miss still coaching football. I'm teasing, of course, but it did put a little spice into the Marshall-Southern Miss rivalry just for a little bit. That does it for this edition. Back tomorrow here, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.